a call to humanity, wisdom from your heavy metal prophet, a beloved friend. I come to you with a heart ablaze with love, speaking from the eternal truths that pulse through the fabric of existence, truths that roar like rivers through the natural order, uniting us in a sacred bond. These words are not mere echoes, but a living anthem, steeped in compassion, humility, and an unyielding desire to see humanity rise to its divine calling. I offer this not for fame or reward, but as your heavy metal prophet, a friend whose sole aim is to ignite the fire of virtue, love, truth, and righteousness, to mend the cracks in our wounded world. You see it as I do, a ominous shadow slinking through our shared home. Some call it the devil, Satan, Iblis, Mara, anger, manu, chaos. Others a darker force, but its sting is unmistakable, a corrosion that unravels the ties of our humanity. It's the rivalry that pits neighbor against neighbor, the pride that exalts one above another, the coldness that demands a price for kindness. This malevolent shadow feeds on division, thriving on envy, greed, and the hunger for recognition. It cuts deep to see you caught in this storm, yearning for the warmth of connection, for a community that sees you not as a rival, but as a sacred soul. This divisive darkness creeps into every corner of our lives, from the fleeting moments of daily strife to the grand stages where power is wielded without care. It is a force that whispers lies, convincing us that we are alone, that our worth lies in what we can take, not what we can give. Once we leaned on each other, on the wisdom of elders, the steady hands of family, the hearts of friends who guided us through life's tempests. They weren't experts with titles, but reservoirs of lived truth, offering love freely, without a ledger to tally the cost. An uncle's story by the fireside, a grandmother's knowing glance, a friend's hand on your shoulder. These were the threads that wove us together, strong and resilient. We've surrendered our souls to systems, to doctors who prescribe before listening, to schools that prize credentials over purpose, to corporations that value profit over people. We've traded the warmth of a shared meal for the cold efficiency of institutions, the counsel of a wise elder for the prescriptions of a stranger. This is not the path, my friend. Humanity was never meant to be a horde of lone warriors, each chasing glory or power. We are a tapestry woven by the eternal law of love, where every thread, farmer, weaver, teacher, dreamer, fortifies the whole. This spiritual corrosion seeps everywhere, like rust eating away at iron. On the roads, where impatience blinds us to each other's worth, where a hurried driver cuts another off, heedless of the lives in their wake. In the halls of power, where arrogance shatters promises and abandons the common good, where leaders speak of unity, but act for their own gain. In courts, where wealth twists justice, leaving the humble voiceless, while those with means bend the truth to their will. In schools, where gifts are shaped for market value, not purpose, where a young soul's passion for philosophy or art is buried under the weight of practicality. And in our hearts, where the longing for connection is drowned by a world that pushes us to compete, to prove ourselves, to trade love for leverage, to measure our worth by followers, wealth, or fleeting fame. This is not who we are meant to be. Look around you, and you'll see the signs. A stranger's harsh word, a friend's cold shoulder, a neighbor's indifference. These are not isolated acts, but symptoms of a deeper wound. We've forgotten the truth that binds us, that no one is an island, that no one thrives alone. A farmer who grows your food, the weaver who crafts your clothes, the teacher who sparks a child's mind. These are not transactions, but sacred exchanges, threads in the great tapestry of life. To deny this is to deny our own humanity, to turn away from the eternal law that calls us to live for one another. We are not here to outshine, to hoard, to climb over others, to reach some fleeting pinnacle. We are here to share, to lift, to love. This shadow has roots in our choices, in the moments we chose rivalry over kindness, pride over humility, gain over giving. It grows in the systems we've built, systems that reward the loudest, the wealthiest, the most cunning, while leaving the quiet, the humble, the sincere to struggle in silence. It thrives in the courts, where justice is a game of rhetoric, where a poor man's truth is drowned by a rich man's lawyer. It festers in schools, where young minds are taught to chase degrees rather than dreams, where a philosopher's heart is told to seek a real job. It poisons our hearts, turning friendships into competitions, love into leverage, community into a marketplace where every act has a price. And it breaks my heart to see you caught in this, longing for a world where a cup of coffee with a friend, a kind word from a stranger, or a hand extended in love could heal what no system ever will. Yet, my friend, you are not powerless. Within you rages the spark of the eternal, a capacity for love that transcends creed, culture, or race. This is the virtue I summon you to, not the fleeting thrill of victory, but the quiet power of giving, not the pride of towering above, but the strength of standing alongside. You were made to share your gifts freely, to lift others without seeking reward, to listen without judgment, to love without demands. This is the truth carved in the stars, in the pulse of the earth, in the beat of every heart. We are one, bound by compassion, meant to heal, not harm. You are not a solitary note, but part of a symphony, where every voice adds to the harmony, where every act of kindness strengthens the whole. I feel your struggles, the weight you carry in a world that often feels cold and unforgiving. I know the loneliness of sitting among others, yet feeling unseen, as if your heart is a stranger in a crowd. I know the frustration of gifts left unused, of dreams deferred because the world deems them impractical. I know the exhaustion of those told to try harder when all they need is a hand, a heart, a moment of true care. I see the single soul in a church of families, longing for connection but met with indifference. I see the worker, striving for purpose, but trapped in a system that values profit over passion. I see the humble, labeled less for lacking wealth or status, their voices drowned by those who wield power without care. And I see you, my friend, carrying the weight of a world that has forgotten its soul. This is my plea. Awaken to the truth that you can change this. You don't need a title, a degree, or a fortune to make a difference. You need only the courage to act, the heart to care, the humility to listen. Start where you stand. Offer a kind word to a stranger, a listening ear to a friend, a moment of presence to someone who feels invisible. Seek the wise ones among you, those whose hearts bear the scars of experience, not the badges of titles. They may be the neighbor who knows your name, the elder who shares a story, the friend who sees your pain. Build communities where no one wanders alone, where love is not a deal, but a gift, where a shared meal, a heartfelt conversation, or a simple act of kindness becomes the foundation of a new world. This estranging shadow grows only where we allow it. It thrives when we choose rivalry over unity, when we let pride drown out compassion, when we trade love for leverage. But we can cast it out with acts of virtue, small selfless deeds that ripple outward like stones in a pond. Share your wisdom not for applause, but to uplift. Extend your hand not for gain, but to heal. Speak truth not to wound, but to guide. These acts are not small in the eyes of the eternal. They are the eternal, the natural truth that we are made for one another. Every kind word, every moment of presence, every selfless deed is a thread in the tapestry we weave together, a tapestry of connection, of healing, of love. Imagine a world where the farmer shares his harvest not for profit, but for the joy of feeding his neighbor, where the teacher nurtures a child's dream not for a paycheck, but for the spark in their eyes, where the leader serves not for power, but for the good of all. This is the world we were meant to build, my friend, a world where no one is left behind, where no one is judged by their wealth or status, where every soul is seen, valued, and loved. This is the eternal law, the natural truth that flows through all creation. We are one, and in serving each other we find our purpose. But this world begins with you. It begins in the quiet moments, in the choices you make each day. When you see someone struggling, pause, offer a smile, a word, a moment of your time. When you feel the urge to compete, to prove yourself, stop, ask instead how you can lift another. When the world tells you to hoard, to win, to rise above, listen instead to the truth in your heart. You are here to give, to share, to love. Seek out those who carry wisdom, not in titles, but in the quiet strength of a life well lived. They may be the neighbor who listens, the friend who cares, the stranger who offers a kind word. Together you can build communities that shine like beacons in the darkness, places where no one is left to wander alone. This is not a dream, but a calling. It is not a fantasy, but a truth as old as the stars. The systems that divide us, courts that favor the rich, schools that stifle dreams, corporations that value profit over people, cannot stand against the power of love. The shadow that feeds on rivalry, pride, and greed cannot withstand the light of compassion, humility, and truth. You have the power to change this, my friend, not because you are mighty, but because you are human, because you carry the spark of the eternal within you. I know the road is hard. I know the weight of loneliness, the sting of rejection, the ache of a world that seems to have lost its way. But I also know this: you are not alone. You are part of a greater whole, a family of souls bound by the eternal law of love. And I stand with you not as a distant voice, but as your heavy metal prophet, a companion on this path. The virtues of love, humility, and compassion are our guide, our fire, our hope. They are the chords that resonate in the anthem of humanity, the rhythm that drives us forward. So, my friend, I ask you, what step will you take today to bring this light to life? Will you offer a kind word to someone who feels unseen? Will you listen to a heart that aches for understanding? Will you share your gifts, not for gain, but for the joy of giving? These are not small acts. They are the seeds of a world where love is the currency, where compassion is the law, where every soul finds a home. Together we can weave this tapestry, one of connection, of healing, of unity. Together we can sing the anthem of humanity, loud and unyielding, until the shadow flees and the light remains. I am with you, my friend, in every step, in every act of courage, in every moment of love. Let us rise together, not to compete, but to create, not to divide, but to unite, not to win, but to heal. This is the truth of our existence, the purpose of our hearts. Let us live it together as one. Your heavy metal prophet,